It's the Two Voices, Nick Benjamin and Andy Waterfield, and we're out of the studio today and we're on the road.
Well, it's not really the road, it's Leicestershire, it's heritage, it's the Great Central Railway. We're going to have a ride up and down on the trains, it's their diesel gala, we're going to have a good look around, and I'm hoping we'll get the chance to talk to people who make this railway go.
This is Loughborough. The next departure will be the 10:30 from platform number 1. This train goes at Cornham Woodhouse, Breathley and Leicester North stations. That is 10:30 platform number 1.
Just gone 10 o'clock, really busy. There's a real hive of activity around here. We're stood next to the W.H. Smith bookstall of old, which they're now using to sell drinks and snacks from. But this is what you'd see on every station.
Also, there's lots of trolleys around with luggage that looks as though it's luggage in advance, isn't it?
You don't see luggage trolleys on the stations anymore, do you? I don't quite know why. I miss the days of luggage trolleys.
Oh, no, there's another train coming
look.
in. You might just hear that in the background. I think that's a shunter, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to connect to this one.
Yeah.
And that's going to make the next service back down to Leicester, the north part of Leicester.
So what's our intention today? What do you do on a heritage railway if people have never been on one before? What's the idea? Run around on it and try out different trains?
Yeah, some people come for the experience of how it used to be on the railways before the modernisation took place. Some people come for the old carriages, some people come for the engines that you can hear, the locomotives. You get on, you ride up and down as many times as you like. There's a branch line in operation today. You can even have a cup of tea on the train, which is really quite nice.
And, of course, there's real ale. There's always real ale.
Always real ale on these trains. The two seem to just go very well together. I'm never quite sure why. Maybe someone during the course of this day will tell me what that's all about. But if you look, there's already people there taking photographs of the locomotive. It's clearly a very special event. Yeah. It's great. Although there's even someone brought their dog on. That's quite sweet.
Let's have a walk along the platform.
Yeah. Yes. That train's going in what?
About 10
15 minutes.
We may be jumping on that, actually.
Yeah, should we go on that one?
The thing also is they have a proper printed timetable, so there's lots going on throughout the day.
Yes.
And you can buy a ticket that allows you, what do people call it, a runaround?
A runaround,
ticket.
up and down.
I like
and do
the
what you
idea
like.
of that.
You get on and off. You don't just have to go to there and back again. You can sort of get off and have a walk around the villages and that sort of thing.
Reading up about this particular heritage railway, one significant thing is they have double line all the way. And what that means is that you can keep on going and the train can come back the other way. And so instead, some heritage railways have one line and they have to run up and down the same track. This one, they put on a whole service of trains throughout the day, which is great.
I think it's also very good because it's used quite a lot for films.
Oh, okay.
So they can have steam, if you want to set something back in the steam age or that, that era, you can have trains passing each other. And we're also now stood outside the refreshment room. You see, in the 1980s, this is what I remember as the buffet.
Yeah.
But this is the refreshment room, and that's been restored as well. And there's a couple of plaques on the wall of awards that it's run for station environment and the restoration. And it's great because it's all done by volunteers, and it's so good to see that rewarded. And it is so smart and tidy and organised.
You're really enthusiastic, aren't you?
I think it's really impressive. I mean, this is a volunteer-run organisation. People only do this because they really want to do it. And it's very easy for projects like that to just spiral out of control. But clearly, here,
it's really well organised.
It's organised, and people are really going the same way and want the same thing out of it.
And the staff are really smart in sort of traditional uniforms as well. So they really buy into it, don't they?
If you're not a rail enthusiast, there's still things that you will find really pleasurable here. The journey itself through the Leicestershire countryside is really nice, and it's quite leisurely. It's not like getting on a train now where you've got to run to find a seat and you're squashed up with no leg room. It sort of gives you a chance to experience what it used to be like. And while you're there, have your real ale, a Kit Kat and a cup of tea as well.
That's true.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Yes.
Now, there is an engine coming up, actually.
Yes.
They've all got numbers on. They're big into the numbers, aren't they, the Heritage Railways? The 2A03.
Well, that, I think, must be the identifying code, the head code for the train, so it tells you what service that is. And then on the side of it will be the locomotive's registration number, if you like. They also have visiting locomotives, I've read up, that some of the locomotives are not normally in service here. So it's a rare, unusual chance to see something. And bearing in mind that some of these might be 40 or 50 years old.
Yeah, and the rest, look at that.
There's a wonderful sound to it, isn't there?
You don't get that with your trains today, do you?
What makes me feel old is I can remember standing on platforms waiting for actual trains which sounded like that. Am I getting that old?
I think that's the issue.
So I'm here with Scott Manley. We're on platform 2 at Loughborough Central. You are the operations manager for the day, is that right?
Yes, I'm the ops manager for the railway, and today I'm the duty traffic manager.
So what does that involve?
So I oversee the whole day, well, the running of the railway today. I'm in charge of all movements, and if there's any problems, it falls to me to make sure that we get a quick resolution, and everything's back on time and back on track.
And do things occasionally go a bit haywire?
Things do go wrong from time to time. Thankfully, today we've ran to time. We've never been more than a couple of minutes down. So yeah, we're doing quite well today. It's running like clockwork.
And although this is a heritage operation, it still has to follow the same rules and regulations as the regular line, is that right?
Yeah, we're still governed by the same rules. We have our own rule book and documentation there. So yeah, it's very, very much rule-based.
And so are you really also responsible for the volunteers for the day as well?
The volunteers will report to me as the duty traffic manager in all different roles. That's the drivers, the signalmen, the station staff. With any problems they have, they come and talk to me. And we do our best to resolve them and keep trains moving and keep things on time.
That must be quite a big team as well.
Yeah, I mean, today we've got 8 diesel locos out, 1 steam. There's about 2 crew on each of them. They're double shifted. So that's a fair number of staff. Then you've got all your train guards. There's 5 sets of stock out today. We've got 4 signal boxes, 4 platforms. So yeah, it's a lot of staff, a lot of volunteers who give up a lot of time to make this work, as well as the people who've been preparing for it this week. There was quite a few of the team here till about 9 o'clock last night, just trying to get all the locos ready for today. The first email about this gala was sent on the 26th of November last year. So it's been 10 months in the making, and there is definitely a sigh of relief when it all comes together and you can sort of just see that it's all been worthwhile.
And out of the whole line, what's your favourite bit?
That's a difficult... the job as a whole is... Because it's so varied, every day you're doing something different. Like today we're doing the diesel gala, in a month's time we're doing a steam gala, we do film jobs, we do contract test work. It's so varied, there's never a boring day, and that's what keeps it fresh, that's what keeps it enjoyable, and I think that's what I love about the railway the most. It's just always something new, something different.
Right, and off we go.
We're up and running. We're on our first train of the morning.
Describe the coach that we're sat in as we roll out of Loughborough Station.
Do you know what the first thing I realise when I sit down in a coach like this is how comfortable it is compared to our seats these days. There's plenty of space. You get a table. We're sort of set in pairs, aren't we? Sat opposite each other. But you've got beautiful fabric. I've got a bit of a thing for the fabric. What do they call it? Moquette.
Moquette's lovely, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Wooden seats. Lovely windows that open. Luggage racks.
It's so comfortable.
And when you sit down, you actually feel comfort rather than what you find on modern rolling stuff.
And the fact that it's a double seat, so you can just slob out a little bit.
I know something else that you like as well. It's the tables that have that Formica style.
Yeah, and I like having the table here, even though there's nothing to put on it at the moment.
No.
We're going through some of the sidings with some rolling stock, which I think probably needs to be restored. Some is restored, just not in use today, and it's quite impressive.
And we're rolling out from Loughborough, going towards Leicester North,
Leicester North, yes.
And Leicester North is actually on its own on this railway line, isn't it? It's not connected up to Leicester that you might know as the main station.
As we go past, there are people down the line side who've been given special permission to take photographs.
Yeah.
And the line did eventually, it's my research coming to play here, it did eventually go on.
Right.
Northbound it would go on to Nottingham and then Sheffield and I think Manchester.
Now there are plans afoot, and we'll probably find out about this later today, to put in a new bridge and extend the railway.
So it can go and join the northern part of it, which is still there.
Yeah.
And it used to go southbound through Leicester, Rugby and then down to Marylebone Station.
Really? As far as that?
Yes.
Gosh. All along alongside the railway are houses, and I often wonder with heritage railways if they think, oh no, that's running against it, or if they go, this is brilliant, we've got a railway at the bottom of our garden.
There are a few quite clearly like it because they have railway memorabilia in their gardens, somewhere to sit and watch, and it's probably very pleasant to sit and watch this, isn't it?
It's great.
You can understand why it'd be quite relaxing, cup of tea, watching all this go by.
And listen to those sounds. Just listen for a moment here.
You're going to have to be brave now. Would you rather go from London to Birmingham on this kind of train, or one of those Pendolinos?
Well, the thing is that your big discussion about Pendolinos every time we go on one is you think they're very narrow in terms of the windows. You can't see out the windows very low ceilings. Very low ceilings. Whereas these are huge picture windows.
I'd rather go on this.
Yeah,
you can
all
keep
the way.
All the way to Manchester. And because Pendolinos, when they're busy, are really, really quite cramped. Whereas even if this was busy, it would be fine. Bit of a branch line station, this, isn't it? In the middle of nowhere.
This is Quorn and Woodhouse.
Yeah.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, just had some lunch, didn't we? It's very nice.
It was. This is 1940s style. A lot of the stations are doing in different styles. There's an Edwardian station that we'll pop along to at some point. But this is 1940s, and it's very wartime. Everything you can see has a little bit of a nod to the war. There's old prams.
Yeah, I'm stood in front of a pram now, which is a scrap collection point where people were donating unwanted colanders and pans and they'd be melted down, which I suppose actually happened, didn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly.
So there's a chip fat fryer there.
You like when that? Let's see if that's still there by the end of the day.
There's a train coming in which we're not going to get. But that's coming in on the other platform now, which is really quite interesting. You can hear that wonderful sound. There's an old tea room as well, NAFI tea room.
The tea room is actually really smart. I've been in there before, actually, to have a look. And, very, very nice. But it's all done out as if it's a wartime bunker. You should go and have a wander in.
And in here is another little display, which is under the stairs, so people miss it out.
Oh, okay. What is it? What is it? Station Master.
It's the station master's office, right underneath
that's wonderful.
the stairs. And
this is really atmospheric, isn't it? There's an old typewriter there.
I quite like that typewriter.
Two
and the telephones, yes. We were saying earlier, the railway wouldn't have existed without the telephone, because everywhere you go, even now, there's a telephone everywhere.
And also, something you don't see in offices these days, an in tray with a spike.
With a spike
so when
on
the job's
it,
done, it's like, put it on a spike. No one does that anymore.
Every station has a cat. There's a model cat asleep. But the other station actually does have a cat, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right.
There's several cats, I think. The radio playing, and it's done with all these signs on the wall, as you would have seen in wartime, things you can and can't do, when to travel, when not to travel. There's even the old fire.
Oh, yeah.
Which they've restored.
I've noticed that in almost every room we go into on these platforms, there's old-fashioned fires, and some of them are actually lit and nice and warm, aren't they?
I suspect if you come here in the cold of winter, you have a lovely time sat in the waiting room with the fire going.
And do you like the light in here? Is sort of that yellow, sort of tinged light that you imagine from wartime for some reason.
It's the kind of light which isn't going to hurt your eyes, and you can work long hours, which I suspect you had to. I'm not so sure about the bottle of dry gin that's on the sink.
Well, it might have been a long day.
Yeah, I suppose it could have been. Do you like the big radio?
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if our programmes could come out of that radio and sound any better. So, the attention to detail is incredible. Someone spent a lot of time doing this.
I think this is my favourite station, actually.
There's a DMU coming in on the other platform. We are changing trains. There's still that slight tension about changing trains. Even here, what if one's late and will you miss the other one?
Full in standing.
Well, we're going to have to get on, because this is the one that's going on the Mount Sorrel branch, which is new. So I think we really should get on. Should we get on through this door? Yeah. Thank you.
Full in standing, as it is. It's X trains, isn't it? So this is the DMU, and if people don't know what DMU is, what's DMU stand for? Diesel multiple units.
That's it. And this is where there's no locomotive at the end. It's all built into the actual carriage itself.
We've got a nice rumbling noise to it.
Yeah. I think this must be late 50s, early 60s. In fact, we stood extra sign that says what is the DMU, which probably gives us more information about it. So this is all a bit exciting today.
It is. we bounced over somehow onto a different platform. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well,
Any idea?
I think we're going to reverse and go down the Mount Sorrel branch, which is a new bit of line that they have opened. And I don't think very many of their services go down it yet.
Oh, okay. So we were quite honoured. That's probably explains why there's so many people on this particular train.
Very busy on this train.
Everyone's giving it a go.
Nice atmosphere on it, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit posh in here, isn't it? Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. I've done so well to get away without using the so far.
So I'm with Andrew, who's the guard on our DMU train.
Hello.
And we're on a very special branch, aren't we? Can you tell me about this branch?
We are indeed. This is the Mount Sorrel branch line, which was originally built to carry materials from the quarry at Mount Sorrel onto the Great Central Railway, as was, and it's recently been reopened through the efforts of very committed volunteers who have rebuilt the track from nothing.
And there was absolutely nothing.
That's right. We just got the track back, but it was very very much overgrown. And there's as I say, a very very good group volunteers who have formed this Mount Sorrel Railway project. And we're delighted that it's now linking with the Great Central Railway, and today is only the second weekend that we've actually run trains directly from the Great Central Main Line to here at Mount Sorrel.
And the idea is it's going to become a more regular thing?
That is the hope, yes.
And we're on an old DMU train.
That's right.
These were the saviour of many of Britain's railways, weren't they?
They saw a lot of use on both main lines and branch lines, from commuter trains just to rural branch lines as well. This is a two-car diesel rail car which you would have seen on secondary lines, built in the 1950s originally, I believe.
And so you're one of the volunteers.
That's right.
At the railway. How long have you been volunteering here for?
Personally been here about 6 years, and it's gradually grown from a couple of days a month to every weekend now.
And what's the attraction? What's the draw?
I think there's a mixture between the heritage trains themselves, steam trains and heritage diesel, but ultimately it's the people that you get to meet on a daily basis and see them enjoy their day with us.
And what's your favourite bit of the line?
Well, I'm a little bit biased because I started volunteering at Rothley Station, so I do like the area around Rothley, but just seeing what's been achieved here at Mount Sorrel is really magnificent.
And it's not just for the enthusiast, is it? It's everyone can have a wonderful day here, can't they?
Absolutely. People from all ages. There's much to see. We have different events, from heritage events like this today. We have major steam galas and events for the children as well. Various characters will come in on days. We have vintage cars, all sorts of things all year round.
And I know we're about to leave, so I shall let you get back to it, but thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Enjoy your day.
We found ourselves in Leicester North, the end of the line, where the engine gets taken off, put back at the front, and it goes back. Let's have a walk down. One of the coaches on the train was this old 1920s buffet car.
Was it pressed into service?
It wasn't today, no. I actually wouldn't want a cup of tea.
Someone
But
sat at the
look
counter
inside,
expectantly.
look.
Oh, look, it's a hot water still.
It's a hot water still.
That's
I
your
love hot
favourite
water
thing in the world,
stills.
isn't it? It's really shiny, well polished.
Yeah, it's really nicely done, isn't it?
I think we'll end up in there later,
Yes.
because I'm sure that will be pressed into service. So,
The restoration.
what do you say is happening to this train? We've just come in on a train and the engine's been taken off the front.
Yeah, and that's going to be taken down the side on the other track and put on the other end, and then it will take the coaches back up to Loughborough. That's going to take about 10 or 15 minutes. There's lots of people at the other end watching that process take place. There's people taking photographs. But just in case you didn't want to do that, there's also a very conveniently placed coffee shop.
Well, that's what I want to do. This is actually a Mr. Shunter, a big shunting type thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not what it's known as.
No, I'm sure it's not. Isn't it wonderful?
It's really good. It's really good.
There's a proper
You're being
cafeteria.
pursued by a locomotive.
I
do you
noticed
realise?
that, yes.
It's coming
It's
past
quite
you,
strange,
creeping up
isn't
on
it?
you.
There it is.
It's the Two Voices, Nick Benjamin and Andy Waterfield, and we've come down to Rothley and
or is it Roseley?
We've
I don't know.
had lots of discussions. We've been listening to people on the radio. They all say one thing, and other people say another thing.
It's like the Solihull, isn't it? I'm going to go for Roseley because that's what I've heard more often than not. Although it needs an E in that, really, doesn't it?
Now, this station is Edwardian in style.
Great, isn't it?
Lovely, lovely. Really well looked after, really well attended.
Look at the planting.
Most beautiful signal box. It's called a cabin in this instance.
Yes.
Really nice. Lovely. Everything's so lovely and painted up well, isn't it? All nice green. And it also has gaslight, and we're going to come through later, actually, on a late train, and the station is usually
lit up,
haunted,
isn't it? Oh, is it?
Well, no, it's not, but it looks as though it should be haunted because it's got gaslights and creepy shadows. I've just made all that up, that last bit, but it does have gas lamps.
You're probably right, actually. It's the kind of thing that if you go back, there's some story about that, isn't there? What I also find odd is the platforms look out onto the car park, the visitors' car park, and there's always at least one heritage vehicle parked in the car park. There's another one. We just saw one leave. Yeah. There's another one over there. Now, I have no idea what it is, but it's fabulous.
But you don't even drive cars?
No, I know. I mean, I can drive, but if I was to buy a car, I'd love to buy an old one. It's gathering quite a bit of attention, isn't it, this older car? Yeah. So it's wonderful. Wow. It's nice to see.
Like you gather attention, don't you, with your age?
And we can go down off the edge of the platform, which feels quite unusual, because in most places you can't actually do that.
So you are actually allowed to cross the platforms here, which is quite unusual, isn't it?
And there's another tea room, and on the platform itself there's a refreshment room, which we've just missed it. It's just closed.
I think it's shut for the day, yeah.
Yes, but that's where you can buy proper, decent homemade cakes.
Yeah, they're quite large slices as
well.
They
did look very good, so...
We've missed out, but you could say, well, that's a good thing for us, really. It saves our figure, hasn't it? I feel funny crossing the track.
I know, it feels really wrong, doesn't it?
But you are allowed to do it, obviously, observing as you do so.
There you go, close the gate.
Information board. There's lots of really good things coming up, actually.
Steam Gala,
Steam and Scream. I like that, on October
Halloween.
The 31st.
There's also a fireworks night event where they're doing a firework display, which is quite good. Actually, I think it's quite good fun.
Yeah, all sounds good. We've come over to the other side of the railway, and there's a model railway.
It's a big model railway. I think it's G scale.
What's the G stand for?
I've no idea what that means.
I think I found out. I think it's garden scale. G for garden.
Oh, all right then.
But it's good. It's it's a big model railway, actually. Very nicely looked after, and the children love it.
Yeah.
The children are running around it. Also, alongside it, an old coal shed. I think they used to sell coal from there, I imagine. Do you think so?
I think so,
Do you think it came in by train and people used to go and collect it?
Go and get it. Oh, yeah, it was a local coal merchant, maybe. And I think they've added a bit on, and now it's become another tea room.
It's lovely. It's really nice, actually. Do you think people would go along with their own bucket or something? I mean, I don't know how these things worked.
What, from the village?
Yeah.
I don't
you go along and collect your coal, or say that there's been a delivery?
There's a train coming in.
Yeah, we got to catch this one.
I think we should get this one back to Loughborough.
Yep. Now we're back at Loughborough Station, and we have come along to the engineering section.
Yeah, it's nice because you can walk down the edge of the platform and you can walk through up to the workshops.
And you feel as though you shouldn't be in here because it's where all the engines are stored. There's all bits and pieces everywhere, metalwork, signal box, oil everywhere.
You have to walk past a wonderful signal box, don't you?
Wonderful.
Look at it, it's great.
It's wonderful. I'd love to live in it. Would you like to live in it?
It would be quite an interesting view, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Somewhere around here, I've heard there are cats.
No, you've got a thing for cats,
on the site.
haven't you?
Yeah. They look after the place, I think, late at night.
They're quite grubby cats as well, aren't they?
Well, they live here. They get involved with stuff, don't they?
So what is this area then? What are you taking me to see?
Oh, this you've got all the locomotives they're not using lined up. Some are being restored and worked on in the sheds. We've got these which just aren't in use today. We've got some steam engines because we've come on a diesel day.
Yeah.
But typically they run all these steam engines, but they're in the back of the sidings for the day. But you can get really close to them and have a look at them. And I don't think people realise just how enormous these engines are until you're stood right next to them.
Well,
the
diesel train that pulled us along a few moments ago has now been detached from the carriages, and when you're down at ground level looking up at it, it's huge, isn't it?
Really
absolutely huge.
When you stood up on that platform, I think you forget how high the platform actually is. And then further on, I think it's the bit which originally would run on over the existing line towards Nottingham, and this was the bit that was severed years ago, and they're now making huge progress in financing and rebuilding that line over the current railway line so they can connect the two lines together. So this bit will become part of the running line eventually.
Again, yeah.
But it is a bit of a grubby area, but
that's
exactly what it is as a workshop.
And I like the fact you can wander around. You're allowed to when you're a visitor.
Yeah, they encourage you to go and see what's going on. So I think we should walk right down to the end and see what's stored behind this big shed here.
Okay.
You're right, it doesn't feel like we should be allowed here, does it? We are in the back end of it. But
this is the end of the engineering section.
Yeah, there's all these old characters. There's a sleeper coach there.
I love the sleeper coach.
Yeah, the sleeper's great fun, isn't it? And some engines they're restoring.
Lots of wheel sets, spare wheel sets, and the canal alongside it.
Now, which canal is this?
This is the Grand Union Canal.
Is it?
I think. I might have to check that. I'm sure it is. A branch of the Grand Union Canal.
And the end of it is you walk over the bridge, which is over the canal, and there's a fence where the line, because this is where the track would be, what we're stood on now.
Yeah.
And this is where the track would originally keep going over the existing railway line between Leicester and Nottingham, which is still in use. Over the top, it's just over there.
Ah, you can see there's that the building work.
Yes, and this is the embankment where the train would have gone along and carried on up to Nottingham. And this is the bit I think they're going to restore.
There's a big sign. In fact, there's a huge sign there, and it'll make it 18 miles long as a continuous railway, which is fantastic, isn't it?
We're back at Loughborough. We've just had a quick look round the museum, which I noticed might be on the move down to Leicester if they get their way, because they've joined forces with the National Railway Museum, haven't they?
Yeah, there's some great architects' plans, and it looks as though they're looking for a heritage lottery, which looks as though they've got the first stage of. And the plan is for a big museum with space for trains to actually be in the museum itself, which would be really good, actually.
The little museum they've got is quite nice, though, isn't it? There's some old silverware and crockery that used to get in the dining car, which is quite interesting because we're stood next to the dining car.
And this goes out just on a Saturday night, I think,
it's
isn't it, mainly?
Saturday lunchtime, Saturday night, Sunday lunchtime, maybe something like that.
The tables are all laid up.
Yeah, fine dining.
It looks really smart. And I love the idea anyway of eating on a train. There's something quite exciting about it. But I think this train goes backwards and forwards a couple of times, doesn't it? So you don't have to rush your meal.
I think it's probably best if you do it in the really bad winter when it's cold.
And
then it's warm inside and you're having hot food.
I wonder what's on the menu.
I don't know. I bet it's lemon meringue pie.
Oh, what makes you say that?
It's always lemon meringue pie from this sort of thing.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's a lovely old train, and it's usually steam hauled as well, so it really is recreating
in fact,
the magic.
It's spin round now. Look what's just attaching itself.
Oh, it's just, oh my God, it is.
The train has just turned up. So that's what it's going to be, I think, tonight.
So this is going to go out later on, isn't it?
Yeah. Great fun if people are going out on it. I wonder if we could sneak a meal.
Yeah, I wonder. The fact that it's all cooked on board as well, which I think is great, because they've got a pretty good kitchen, but it's not a lot of space. It's hardly what you'd call a luxurious space to work in, is it?
It does make you wonder how they managed to cook in such a small space for, about 2 or 3 carriages worth of tables.
You've got 40 people in each, maybe, 80 seats you've got to do. That's hard work for any restaurant.
Yeah. Richard Patching, you're the acting CEO of the Great Central Railway. How long have you been with the railway?
I don't really like to answer this question truthfully, but I began at Ground Zero in 1969.
Oh wow, okay. So you've been around for a long time here.
I've been a member for a long time, but it was only really when I retired from my day job about 8-10 years ago that I've really put a lot into it. Well, I think I've put a bit into it.
It seems to be that way. I mean, we've had a wonderful day here, and thank you for your hospitality today. What do you think is... it's a very difficult question to answer, probably, but what is the appeal for you of the Great Central Railway? What makes you come back after all these years?
Well, it's a railway that I grew up with. Born in Nottingham, went train spotting in Nottingham, and obviously this is the bit that has stuck.
Yeah.
It's a bit of my past, and hopefully a bit of everyone's future. I hope that doesn't sound facile, but that's how it is. I came through on this line, 50-odd years ago, or more, probably, when I was didn't even know what was going on.
Right, okay. And it's you started then as a volunteer many years ago, as you say, and you sort of worked your way up and you had the opportunity then of taking on your current role, which must be interesting coming from the volunteer level, because you're very much driven by volunteers here, aren't you?
Oh, I think like all heritage railways, if it weren't for the volunteers, we just simply wouldn't be here. You've got to have a core of paid staff to do the work, particularly Monday through Friday. and especially a lot of the drudge jobs, which is what management is, and maintaining the track work, making sure that the locos are fettled during the week and ready for efforts at the weekend.
And your volunteers, are they all from all sorts of different backgrounds?
All sorts of day jobs that people have come here at weekends in their spare time.
It's an amazing thing, isn't it?
We've got people who volunteer from Bournemouth and Blackpool.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. It's a way to come. Now, you've got huge plans for the future. The Bridging the Gap project is your big project, isn't it? I mean, how's that going? What's the latest on that?
Well, we made big strides last weekend. We achieved the unbelievable with a bridge over the whole 4 tracks of the Midland Main Line.
That's fantastic.
That went in between about 1 o'clock and 4:30 last Sunday morning. Right. It was freezing cold for the time of the year, but I stuck it out, as did about 100 other spectators.
And did it bring a bit of a tear to your eyes, seeing that actual bridge go in? Because it's taken a long time to get to this stage.
Yeah, and the thought that is the single biggest piece in the whole jigsaw puzzle of the Gap project. Mm-hmm. It's a jigsaw, it's 100 pieces, but that really is the central piece, and without which I think the rest of it doesn't have credibility or hang together. But now we've achieved that. That is the launch pad.
It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. This is probably the most difficult question you're going to be asked. What is your favourite must-see part of the Great Central Railway?
Oh, there are so many high points. There's our wonderful collection of steam locos, the fact that we're double track, the intense activity which we get at a gala, and I'd have to say, with a beer glass in my hand, the selection of real ales from Nottingham Brewery.
Fantastic. Richard, thank you very much for your hospitality today. We really appreciated it.
Absolute pleasure.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it?
It's been great. This has been the Great Central Railway, and we've been out and about. What's been the highlight for you?
That little new branch line they've put in.
Oh, yeah, up to Mount Sorrel.
Yeah, I quite like the tea room on the platforms as well. There's something quite special about that.
I enjoyed meeting the staff and the CEO we spoke to. I just thought his sort of passion for it really came through. He's been started off as a volunteer many, many years ago, and is now the CEO and doing a wonderful job. And just really welcoming here today.
It's the attention to detail and how it's essentially run by a group of volunteers who want to make a really great experience for people, and I think that's really quite special.
I think we'll be coming back.
This is a Two Voices production at 2V Radio on Twitter or twovoices.co.uk.